What is up, Buncombe? It's Abby, and today we are here at Salt and Light Conference at Nebo Crossing Church in Marion, North Carolina.
Raise a flag of liberty, the land of the free, rejecting tyranny.
We are so excited to be here, and we're going to interview some awesome people. And speaking of awesome people, here comes Adam Smith.
Hi, Abby.
We are here with Adam Smith, who has just announced his candidacy for the North Carolina's 11th congressional districts. How are you?
If I was doing any better, I'd be twins. So I'm pretty good. I'm doing all right.
Your positivity is just infectious. It's just everyone around you has to smile when you smile. You know that?
Well, I appreciate that. I know that it's far easier to do that than go the other way. And I feel like we've had enough frowning and frustration in Western North Carolina. So let's see if we can smile a little bit more.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about who is Adam Smith?
Well, besides the author of The Wealth of Nations and the conversation around the invisible hand, for anybody that knows the Scottish Adam Smith, I'm also not the Democrat congressman from Washington State. There's another one out there, obviously. I'm 42. I'm a former Green Beret. I spent nearly 17 years in the military, and I'm a dad of a beautiful little girl. She's 4.5 years old. I'm a God-fearing man. I live in Western North Carolina, a tiny little cabin that we rent on Highway 9. I love the opportunity to create impact. This is a new mission to create new impact, and so this is really important.
How do you think that your military service has influenced your leadership and how you view things like running for Congress?
Well, the first thing is that I'm very aware of the bureaucratic nonsense that takes place. One of the reasons why I got out was I thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. Mm-hmm. And after 8 years of serving under Obama and watching all of the bureaucratic nonsense and the rules of engagement changes and the fact that he tied our hands in combat to do our job, and then let's add to it the Benghazi scandal, the classified information and servers in the closet scandal, all of this stuff with Hillary Clinton. I couldn't serve underneath her. I didn't have it in me. So I've seen that firsthand. I've worked in D.C. when I was at the Defense Intelligence Agency, and I know what it is to be in D.C., and I've seen that firsthand. So if you add the experience to modern reality, and we look at the last decade, and we see in the last decade really what's taken place in modern American society. We've seen a moral decay. We've seen a reduction and a demonization of Christian values. We've seen an attack on the American nuclear family. We've seen the rise of Marxism through BLM. We've seen the rise of socialist mentality and Marxist mentality with at a new level with Antifa and Black Lives Matter. We've seen the same thing happen most recently with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I think the difference between military experience and those who are politicians is that politicians say what they have to say to win an election, and guys with military experience, I think, are very direct and to the point. There's a lot of things that are broken. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed, and we can't keep having wallflower, weak representation be the voice of people that are ready to fight. And I think we have a huge constituent base in Western North Carolina that are ready to see the nonsense stop.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is the thing that sets you apart from the incumbent and even what will eventually be the Democratic nominee? What do you think is that thing that goes, that's me, that's Adam Smith, it's going to make me want to go, pull that lever?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have the best answer for that. I mean, the fact of the matter is that some people love the fact that I was in the military, and they have a lot of respect for that. But I think we can respect it, but I don't think we need to put it on a pedestal. I'm not any different than anybody else. I live on Highway 9 in a tiny little cabin that I rent from the property owner so I can live next door to my daughter and my ex-wife. Mm-hmm. So my daughter can see what it is to have a family even though her mom and dad aren't married. I work my butt off on a regular basis to do business consulting. I just want to create impact in the world. I mean, at the end of the day, what's the difference between Chuck and I? I saw Chuck when the president showed up during the storm. We raced back from Texas at a veterans nonprofit event in order to get my daughter and her mom out of the middle of the mountains because they were cut off, and we hadn't heard from them for 36 hours. When Chuck was sitting behind his desk and making phone calls or flying around to assess the damage, which I heard he was doing, we were on the ground delivering supplies. We were working with the National Guard, with FEMA. We were working with the active duty personnel. We were working with emergency management services from all over the region in order to effect real-time rescue, recovery, and relief effort. It's great to assess the situation, but if you refuse to provide real-time leadership in moments of chaos and disaster, then you can never ask for anyone to follow you at any other point, at any point, because that's when it's needed most. Not going to Congress and signing a bill, because that time will come. Not making a phone call and saying, let's see what we can do, that time will come. But getting on the ground, getting your bloody hands dirty, and recognizing that you have a moment in this moment right now to make true and legitimate impact. And it's not just looking for damage assessments. It's how do I move water? How do I support moving materials and supplies? Who do I have to call to make that happen? Can I get more helicopters? Can I allocate more fuel? What sort of coalition do I have to build, or can I build with Buncombe County with regards to the Asheville airports and all the other airports in the region? What do I have to do to influence the FAA in order for us to be able to get discrete squawk codes so we can keep flying when the president shows up, which is what we did. That's what we did at Savage Streamless Relief Operations. That's what we did on the ground. We made backdoor phone calls, as many as possible, so we could work around the system rather than allowing the system to dictate our ability to recover and rescue people. And we were still able to fly. We're the only organization that was able to fly when President Biden showed up with Vice President Harris. And they set up two 30-mile flight restricted areas that nobody could fly in. We did. We kept flying because we were legally allowed to. Where was representation when that happened? Why didn't we get phone calls of how we can provide service and support to you? I guess, I don't know. The difference is that I'm willing to say what the problem is and actually go after it, and I just hear kind of talk from the other side.
I love that.
Sorry for the long answer.
No,
it fires me up.
That was great, and I'm speechless. That was fantastic. What is your plan when you get to DC? What is the things you want to accomplish as a congressman?
We got three big missions. So the first mission is, how do we make certain that Western North Carolina can rebuild and recover from Helene in a more effective and efficient manner, which means that we have to know where dollars are going so we can get dollars to the end user. That's the first piece. The second piece, we have to build a coalition with state leadership. And at the state leadership level, especially with the General Assembly, we have to work on policies at the state level that can help tie the hands of the governor of the state with regards to how those dollars are allocated. Just because you got federal dollars that come to the executive branch of the state doesn't mean that the executive branch gets to willy-nilly spend those dollars however they like. Mm-hmm. Right now they can. So we have to do more at the state level to legislate that those dollars to go where they need to go. So there has to be a coalition, a team effort built at the state level. Now, people will say, well, Adam, that's interfering with state politics. No, it's not. The constituents of Western North Carolina and the citizens of North Carolina in general, there's a twofold level of responsibility. There's federal representation and federal dollars, and federal representation can only truly understand what's going on the ground if they partner with state representation and state leadership. So we have to do both. And the third thing, which is near and dear to my heart, national security and veterans' rights. We have to have strong national security in order to have a sovereign nation. Strong borders is critical. We need to have a well-trained, well-funded, and well-equipped all-volunteer army, all-volunteer military. And we have to stop looking at the special operations community like we look at conventional forces. You can't mass produce them. Mm-hmm. We watched it firsthand in their effectiveness in disaster relief. So the overhaul of FEMA is a national security consideration. It has to be reorganized, it has to be overhauled, and it has to be reoperationalized so it operates in the best interest of the American people. Because it doesn't. We watched it firsthand. We were here. We saw it, right?
Yeah.
And we saw it during Hurricane Katrina. And we saw it during the response in Texas on the Guadalupe River, because we were there too to help there. We saw it firsthand. So if we can fix those three things, the recovery of Western North Carolina, moving dollars where they need to go, making certain that the national disaster strategy is revamped, because national disaster strategy is national security strategy, which includes overhauling of FEMA. And the big piece is growing new opportunities in Western North Carolina. Business opportunities, making sure people can rebuild their homes. How do we make that happen? Those are the big focuses.
I love that. I'll ask you one more because I know you're busy today. What was the straw that broke the camel's back for you? What was the moment that you said, I've got to do this, it's now or never?
I woke up one morning and I saw a news report of dollars being allocated to Western North Carolina. And I saw the incumbent touting success for signing this bill. And then I picked up my phone and I called small business owners in Buncombe County and Dow County and Transylvania County. I called them in Avery County and Yancey County. All of these small business owners that we've worked with the nonprofit, I called them and asked them, have you seen any dollars? What's the current situation of your business? And the same answer was over and over again. We haven't gotten anything. We haven't seen anything. We haven't moved any of the dollars. We don't understand how the grants actually work. And the thing that we keep hearing is SBA loans, SBA loans, SBA loans. And I got off the phone and I looked at my fiance Taylor and I was like, I can't believe this. There's millions of dollars being injected into Western North Carolina and nobody knows where it's going. I can tell you firsthand because I watched it firsthand. Outside contractors came from outside of the state with prepositioned contracts to do debris cleanup and debris removal. Nearly 90% of those employees came from out of state as well. Counties spending 40, 50, 60 million dollars on the verge of bankruptcy because they haven't gotten reimbursements like they're supposed to get on approved work. And those millions of dollars that have been spent to those contractors, where did they go? Are they in Western North Carolina? Are they going to small businesses? Are they going to the families so that locals can buy Christmas presents for their kids? No, those dollars left the bloody state. They left the state and they went out of state. Millions of dollars. It is so frustrating to think that my friends and neighbors and my family are struggling to recover from this storm. And there's been millions of dollars put into place and they haven't seen a bloody penny. And this is not about fairness or equity or equality or any of the other bullshit that comes with that conversation. This is about facts and reality. People in Western North Carolina lost their companies and business. They lost their revenue. Now they're talking about leaving and mass exodus, and they can't provide for their families. They don't need a handout from the government. They don't need a handout from anybody. What they do need is an opportunity to rebuild their company from funds that they've already paid to taxes that's their money to begin with. And yet we keep getting promises that don't get fulfilled by the governor, by the previous presidential administration, and now by congressional representatives at the district level that chair an appropriations bill but don't follow through with the other 2/3 of their job. So I have to smile more because I get so frustrated and angry with how things aren't working right, and they're not working right for people in Western North Carolina. And if I don't smile, then I want to flip over tables.
That was so moving. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
appreciate it so much. Can you tell us where we can find out more information about your campaign?
You can find me at adaminthehouse.com. And then all the social media is, and it's the word, not the number. So it's Adam R. Smith 4NC. And that's on Instagram, Facebook, X, and I think we might be setting up a TikTok page here soon. We'll see.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time,
Thanks for
Adam.
having me.
Always
Abby.
a pleasure.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here with State Auditor Dave Boliek. It's so great to have you here again.
Abby, I'm glad to be with you. Always good to see you.
It's so great. I absolutely loved your speech just now. It was so inspiring and got me fired up.
Well, I appreciate it. It's from the heart. I try to be, and I think I am an authentic representation of the people of North Carolina, and that's the goal in leadership across the state. Is you want to be authentic and you want to be yourself. And if you can't come to a place like Faith and Freedom and Salt and Light and be yourself, then you shouldn't get in the arena, right?
I love that.
And,
I love that.
And so that's my goal. So Western North Carolina, everything going well.
It's
I
going
hope it's
good.
it's
With
coming
your
around.
help, it's getting better.
We're keeping track of the money being spent in Western North Carolina, and we're tracking those dollars. I would tell your listeners and viewers to pay attention over the coming weeks as we start to deliver some detailed reports on where dollars have been spent and then where dollars, quite frankly, have not been spent that could make a difference.
I think that's the big question everyone's asking is where's all this FEMA money gone? Because we were told there were millions of dollars and no one can account for it. So we're really excited to see what you're doing with that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I do want to give a lot of props to the Department of Transportation. I do think that our North Carolina DOT has risen to the occasion in Western North Carolina. Now, there's still work to be done, clearly, particularly as it relates to private bridges and even some public bridges. There's work to be done. And then, of course, we need to get I-40 reopened fully. But from our office's point of view in watching what the DOT has done, they deserve some real credit for working hard. And I think they've done really well as a state agency. On the other hand, the whole Rebuild North Carolina program, is an area where I think we need some improvement and where I think we need to see some speed. We need some a sense of urgency toward helping people get back into their homes, get their homes rebuilt, get their homes remodeled and refinished, so they can go back to living and working in Western North Carolina.
Awesome. Can you give us a little bit of an update on the DMV and how that's going?
Yeah, so DMV, the liberal media likes to call it my white whale, the DMV. But yeah, of course, we've completed the first part of the series of audits that we're going to do on the Department of Motor Vehicles. First on the information systems, which the information systems and computer technology at DMV, quite frankly, is frozen in time. And a lot of work needs to be done there. And then, of course, we did our audit on the process of getting a driver's license. And a lot of the recommendations that our team made in our audit, the commissioner has taken into account. They're starting to put them into place. And I've talked to the governor about it at length. He seems receptive. One of the overarching recommendations we made was for the DMV to be split off from the DOT, which to our team makes a lot of sense because the Department of Transportation, as the people in Western North Carolina know, have their hands full with laying asphalt, pouring concrete, getting roads built. And the DMV being under the DOT really just causes an extra layer of bureaucracy that doesn't need to be present. The commissioner of the Division of Motor Vehicles needs to be more nimble. He needs to be able to have flexibility in the way he manages that office so that he can be more customer service minded. So our recommendation, when we're going to stick by that, is to peel off the DMV from the DOT.
Awesome. We're so thankful for all the work that you do for our state.
Well, I appreciate it. The goal is to change the mission.
Yeah.
The mission of the state auditor's office previously was really like an accounting firm. And that is to go to state agencies, kind of do the high-level financial accounting, and then, give these reports and help agencies. And that's important, right? We want to continue that mission of helping agencies get better, sort of in an internal way, right? A business-to-business way. But what our team has really worked hard to do is to flip the script, and that is to become relevant to everyday North Carolinians. And by doing this DMV audit, by investigating the city of Charlotte, by investigating the bus system in the city of Charlotte, by going into the Winston-Salem, Forsyth County schools and holding that school board in Winston-Salem accountable for the fact that they're $46 million over budget. Parents, students, and the community deserve answers to questions like that. And we view our job at the auditor's office our job really is to get those answers.
I love that. Thank you so much for your time. Before you go,
Yeah.
Last time we had you on our show, you told us a really funny story about you and Commissioner Farley. You got any more really funny stories for us?
I do. I have a great story. So, I really appreciate being on your show, and I appreciate being here at Salt and Light and being able to speak. But let's face it, nobody really knows who the state auditor is or what the state auditor does, really, right? And so I was speaking to the county commissioners of North Carolina, their association meeting. So county commissioners from all over the state are at this meeting. And I was there and I spoke to them, and they invited me to dinner. So I sat down at dinner. It was a little banquet table, not really too formal, but I had two staffers with me that were sitting to my left, and there was a nice young lady sitting to my right, and she had a name tag on her blouse, and she worked for a county, and her job was to be the clerk of the county commissioners. And so I started talking to her about what she does. So she deals with the elected county commissioners of that county. It's a pretty good sized county. I said, how long have you been doing that job? And she told me, she said, 25 years. And so I'm sitting there and we're talking. I'm thinking to myself, well, she knows who I am. I'm Mr. State Auditor, elected statewide, right? She knows who I am. So we're kind of talking. But then as we start wrapping up the conversation, she looks at me and she says, now, remind me, you work for the state auditor? I said, well, I am the state auditor. She says, is that a family business? I said, why do you ask? She said, because I was just wondering if those two guys with you are your sons. Are they going to take over the family business one day? And so, look, just when you start thinking that you are a somebody, the people of North Carolina will remind you that you're just one of them, right?
I love that. Thank you so much for your time,
Abby,
Auditor.
always great to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are here with Shawn Hendrix. How are you doing today?
I am good. I'm having a lot of fun.
Great. Is this your first Salt and Light?
It is my first Salt and Light, and it's the 1 year anniversary of Hurricane Helene. So a lot of the great men and women that served are all here, and so it's kind of like a reunion. You know, coming and seeing everybody. Like me and Greg, we worked. Never met each other in person once, but we were crossing. You know, we were both doing the same kind of work up there. So it's really great to meet a lot of people that were just doing awesome things. And meet them in person, shake the hand, and just kind of relive some of the amazing moments that happened during that storm, and also a lot of the tragedy as well. So,
Well, why are you here today? What brought you here?
I got invited to speak on how churches can better prepare for disasters, and I thought that was a great topic, and I'd love to give some feedback for it. So I got invited to speak, so I'm here.
Yeah, we're really excited to hear you. We're actually coming to your session
awesome.
later this afternoon, so we're excited.
Great. I'll be right here in this room. So.
Can you give us a little sneak peek of it?
So I'm on a panel. So, but I think for me, you know, if I had to summarize what I would have to offer, is that the church should be the center of any disaster, right? The church should be the place that the people come to when there's need, and I want to make sure that the churches know how to become that. We help them create that in a lot of cases with Starlink and supplies and other things. But how great would it be if all of our small churches up here were already set up to when something happens, that the community knew that the church would have their back. And that's what we're supposed to be, salt and light, just like the conference, right? And so, and then inside their own congregation, there's always a difference of how much money different people in the church have. If you have money, you have no excuse not to be prepared. So get prepared. But then we should, we bear one another's burdens, right? All the one another's in the Bible. Love one another, bear one another's burden. So those who don't have, the people in the church who are getting by week to week with groceries, they can't just go buy a month of supplies. So the church should bear one another's burdens and help them also prepare, so that the church body, when it happens, they're already good to go. So when the public comes in, we can bless like no other. We can love like no other, and be known, like I said, be salt and light to the community, and help people find God in the worst of times.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to talk about.
I love that.
So, yeah.
Where can people find out more about you and the things that you're doing?
I'm pretty much on X. It's the only platform I believe that won't just kick me off for what I say. I believe I have true freedom of speech there. I'm on Instagram. It's all the Shawn Hendrix on Instagram or X, but TheShawnHendrix. So the Shawn Hendrix. But X is where I basically just post the most. So I do post on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Well, we hope to soon have you on our show for a longer episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're
Definitely.
really excited. Thank you for talking to us today.
All right, well, definitely FixBuncombe. It needs it.
Yeah,
so.
we got our work
Appreciate
cut
you
out
guys.
for us. Thank
Yes,
you.
you do. Thank you.
We are here with the amazing, the incredible Don Brown, who is running for U.S. Senate. How are you today?
Abby, I'm doing great, and that I'm able to spend some time with you. We'll be leaving in a few minutes, but you'll be probably my last, and I would say one of the best interviews I've done. So I always love to be with you.
Well, thank you.
bet.
We're excited. It's the third time that we've gotten the privilege to have you on our show. So what's new?
We have been crisscrossing the state. Earlier this week, we were in Currituck County, the far northeastern county of the state, just south of Virginia Beach, and we came to Buncombe County, and then we were together in Buncombe County, turned around and went back to Mecklenburg Head Court, and now back here to Salt and Light, and we're headed to Caldwell County this afternoon. So we're crisscrossing the state and meeting conservatives, meeting the grassroots. The good news is I'm absolutely convinced there are more of us than there are of them. We just got to organize.
Yep.
If we get organized, it's ball game over.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to bring the torch of freedom to the United States Senate, let it burn lightly all throughout the state. And this state is going to lead a second American Revolution, as I spoke about last night to the convention.
I love it. Your speech was incredible. It got me fired up. It got me excited. I was on my feet. I was so happy.
Thank you, Abby.
So I just blanked. I'm so
Blank
sorry.
all you want. That's why God created the video room, right? Blank all you want.
I was going to ask you, is this your first Salt and Light?
It is. It is.
Are you enjoying it?
Loving it. Absolutely.
Great. I'm so excited. So what are you looking forward to accomplish in these next couple months before the primary?
Well, we have to continue to build our grassroots team. We're fighting a machine. We're fighting a Republican Party where the senior leadership is ignoring its own rules to prohibit anything other than neutrality. So we understand that. but I like a good challenge. And the people on the ground are with us. So our challenge is going to continue to be working the grassroots all over the state, doing our best to raise the money that we can. The establishment's trying to shut us down there too, but I'm not jumping out of this race. We're going to take this race. We've got to win the nomination in order to take the election. If my opponent wins the nomination, the Democrats will win the election.
Yep.
And I'm 1,000% convinced of that. That's why I cannot back out. I'd love to be able to. If somebody wants to come and takes this torch and go, then I would feel confident that would be fine. But right now, I'm where I feel like I'm being called to be at the moment. We'll take it one step at a time, work hard, pray hard. That's about all we can do.
So I'd like to ask you about the big thing that everyone's talking about right now is Rule 11. Obviously, what are your thoughts on that? What can we do to fight that?
Rule 11 is a rule from the National Republican Party that prohibits endorsements. And the state Republican Party and the leadership, when I say the state party, let me be clear, the state chair and the two committee people have taken the rule and turned it on its head. It prohibits any endorsements, except under the following circumstances. The key word in Rule 11 is unopposed. So if there's a situation where we're before the primary, the Republican nominee is unopposed, and we're after the filing deadline. What that means, the filing deadline in this case is December, the primary is March. So after December, if I were the only candidate, if Whatley were the only candidate, they could endorse. They cannot do it before then. So senior leadership is cheating. They're cheating. And we talk about the Democrats for cheating, but that rule says exactly what they claim it says. And the problem is you have lazy members in the media that just take the word for it without reading the rule. You read the rule, there's no question. Not really sure what all we're going to do about it. There are good people within the executive, or I should say the executive committee of the state Republican Party that are fighting it. We're going to let them see how that goes, but they will not get away with it. I can tell you that. They're not going to get away with it. I mean, listen, they sometimes you can pick on the wrong patriot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So some might go on to get along. I'm not a go along to get along type of guy. And I can't take cheating within our own party because we're better than that. We're better than the Democrats. We can't be better than Democrats if we let our senior leadership cheat. And that's exactly what they're doing with this rule. Not just that, but the state plaintiff organizations are violating that as well. It's not a close call. They will shift the argument and try to say, oh, this is about a joint fundraiser. No, it's not. The phrase joint fundraiser is nowhere in this state plaintiff organization. It isn't authorized. Both the plaintiff organization and the national party rules require neutrality, period, prior to the primary. And so that's where we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for being the patriot that you are.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you, and God bless. Appreciate being with you.
God bless you. And we are honored to have Congressman Harris, who covers North Carolina's 8th Congressional District. How are you today?
I'm great, Abby. How are you?
I'm good. We're so excited to have you here. Is this your first Salt and Light?
This is not. I have been part of Salt and Light from its very beginning, so I'm very, very honored and thrilled to be here again.
We're so excited to hear you speak later today.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for giving us just a moment. I just wanted to talk to you about House Bill 3733, the Make Doge Permanent Act. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, my understanding is it's something that, again, we're wanting to take these cuts that have been made, and we want to get Doge in a position to where they're really able to, again, look under the hood. I told somebody that right after I got to Congress, this is my first term, as you know, it's a great time to be in Congress, by the way, because having the House and the Senate and the presidency, we could actually get some things done. And when Elon Musk and Doge came along, everybody was just sort of trying to figure out what it was going to look like. And then the first report started coming out from USAID, and they started putting this litany together, this list of all of these different agencies of where our money was going, and 80% of the American people were saying, we're not going to go for that. We don't support that use of our taxpayer money. And so I told folks, would ask me back home, they said, well, how do you see Doge? What do you think Doge is doing? I said, I got to be honest with you. To me, I'm not a CPA, but Doge was bringing to us the closest to an audit that I think I had ever seen take place. They were going agency by agency, they were looking under the hood, and they were trying to see exactly how that money was being spent. And I can't think of anything that the American people would want more than to know how their money is being spent. And so I've been a big proponent of seeing the Doge Act and seeing us get to a point where we are going to be more accountable and more responsible with taxpayers' money. If we had had this all along, I have to think that we probably wouldn't be $37 trillion in debt. And that has been a major emphasis of mine from the time I ran for Congress, is that we've got to get our spending under control.
Lastly, how do you think that your faith has influenced your time in Congress?
Well, I think it's influenced it purely because folks ask me all the time, well, what's it like being a pastor and being a congressman? And every now and then I'll do an interview and the person will say, well, I want you to put your congressman hat on. Then they would say, then I want you to put your pastor hat back on for this question. And I quickly end up correcting them and say, you know, I don't have one hat that I wear one day and another hat I wear the next day. I'm Mark Harris, blood-washed, born-again believer in Jesus Christ, who's been washed in the blood of the Lamb, and I'm just walking, living life each day. And so as a congressman, when I am serving in the United States Congress, I want to make decisions with wisdom and understanding, knowing that I'm going to see things through a biblical worldview. That's the lens through which I choose to see things. As I study God's Word, that's how my faith guides me. So I just continue to live that out. And I still preach every Sunday in a church, and I'm very honored that the folks at my church are willing to let me continue to serve as their pastor. And I'm just very honored to be able to do that. So it influences me. There's a lot of believers on Capitol Hill. Let me just say that. There are a lot of Bible study opportunities on Capitol Hill. I'm part of a Bible study that meets every Wednesday morning, and it's fascinating. And I just think that people would be surprised to know that there are men and women up there that really and truly share this same biblical worldview and really want to continue to work together to make our country what God wants it to be. And that's ultimately what I desire.
Amen. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Congressman.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for doing a podcast and helping get the word out.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you.